If I were to start a virtual assistant business in 2025, this is what I would do. Hi, my name is Faith. I've been a virtual assistant now for 4 years, and on this channel, I share motherhood content. I share about being a virtual assistant, working from home, and travel because I love travel. Now, I should also say that the strategy I'm about to share is more if I had a little bit more time, if I wasn't like desperate for money right this second. I think if you're desperate for money, like you got to do what you got to do to get a job, you know what I mean? But if you have a full-time job right now, or maybe you're a mom who's looking to make a little bit of extra income on the side, it's not a rush, but you still want to make money, then this is what I would do. So the first thing I would do to become a virtual assistant is download a checklist of all the things I need to do to become a virtual assistant. This is actually what I did 4 years ago when I started my business. I downloaded Abbey from the Virtual Assistant Savvy. She has a checklist to become a virtual assistant. I downloaded that and that really helped me out. I also personally now have a checklist that I give to people who want to be a virtual assistant. It includes basically step-by-step everything you need to do to launch a business. Now, I should say you don't always need to do everything, but it helps. So check it out in the description down below. I would honestly download both checklists from me and Abbey, just because having more options and variety is never a bad thing. Okay, but then the next thing I would do is figuring out what services I want to provide as a virtual assistant. Now, you don't always want to offer everything as a virtual assistant. I think that you can. And like, if you're trying to get a job and you are seriously desperate, then do what you gotta do, you know what I mean? But niching down and having specific services will just give you a little bit more vision for where you wanna go. And it will help clients feel like they can trust you more if you have specific services and skills that you can offer them. So the best way to do this is to look at your past jobs. What skills do you have that you can offer as a virtual assistant? Do you have a lot of skills in administrative work or marketing or social media management, video editing? Those are things that I offered in the beginning, and I actually still offer because that's what I have the most experience in and I enjoy doing. I should also say you want to enjoy what you're doing, so don't just choose something because it's popular. I think that it's an easy way to burn out if you really don't like what you're doing. So figure out your skills. I would figure out, what am I good at? The next thing I would do is I would make my resume highlight those specific skills. So if I'm really good at marketing, I would look at my past jobs and really highlight that in my resume that I've done marketing. So if you are making a resume, you want to make sure, well, you should make a resume no matter what you're doing, but when you have your resume, you want to make sure that you're checking for spelling, for grammar, because those are the things that if you have any spelling errors in your resume, people are not going to pick you as a virtual assistant. The next thing I would do is start a portfolio. Now, a portfolio does not have to be super fancy. It doesn't even have to be a website. You don't need a website to be a virtual assistant. If you want to scale in the future, a website's not a bad idea. But I have also seen people have websites that are really bad, and it actually makes their business look worse. I also just don't think it's really necessary in the beginning unless you are trying to be a website designer of some sort. So a portfolio is really just a sample of all your past work. So if you're trying to get jobs in marketing as a virtual assistant, you want to have past marketing campaigns that you have worked on. You want to have graphics. You want to have, if you can, analytics, showing proof that you have done the work. That's really what you're trying to show the person or whatever job that you're applying to, is that you know how to do what you're saying to do. If it's video editing, I would put samples of work that I have edited in just a Google Drive. Now, it doesn't have to be a Google Drive, but personally, I just like using a Google Drive and just putting everything in a Google Drive, labeling it, and then sending that link 2 people as my portfolio. The next thing I would do is quickly register my business with the IRS. This is really quick. If this is, I should say, more for US based virtual assistants, but just registering your business, getting an EIN number, it's very fast, it's completely free, and it's really easy. So that's the next thing I would do. Because the next thing I would do after that is opening a business bank account. And this is really great because you want to start from the very beginning to have finances that are separate from your personal finances, because you will have to pay taxes on your business revenue. It's also free to open a business bank account. It's really easy, it's fast, and there are even some business bank accounts where you can get like bonuses for opening them. The next thing I would do is figuring out an invoice system. So what sort of way are you going to be charging clients? Is it going to be through PayPal, through Stripe? Those are also free to use. You will have to pay a little bit of a fee to use any sort of payment processing system. The only way to get past those processing or like payment fees is by having a client direct deposit money into your account, which not all clients would be happy to do. You also can write off those fees when you do your taxes. So that is something to keep in mind. The next thing I would do is figuring out what I'm going to charge for my services. So I would look at what other people are charging in the industry and kind of get an idea of what I could charge. Remember that you could always change your rates, so don't really obsess about this too much. You will need things like a contract as well. I wouldn't obsess over this too much. I have a contract that I sell in my Etsy store. I will post that link in the description as well. There are lots of other contracts online. You can even get a free contract. I do recommend a contract just because it really shows your client, these are my boundaries. Like, you should be paying me this on this day, and you should be doing this, and like this is what I'm promising to deliver to you. It protects you and it protects the client. And then really the next thing that I would do, even though there's a lot other things you could do to launch your business, I think you're fine just applying for jobs and looking for a virtual assistant job. Look on job boards like LinkedIn, Indeed. I would look for virtual assistant jobs, and not just for jobs as a virtual assistant, like that's the title, but whatever my skill set is, I would be looking for jobs in that skill set. So if my skill set is administration, I'm gonna be searching for administration jobs that are remote, that are virtual, because not everybody who hires a virtual assistant or a contract worker is just looking for that term, virtual assistant. Sometimes they're looking for specific skill sets. I would also be looking in Facebook groups. There are some virtual assistant Facebook groups where people hire virtual assistants. I would also share with everybody I know on social media, hey, I am looking for freelance work as a virtual assistant. These are my specific skill sets. I would really love to do marketing or social media management. If you know anybody who is looking for this, please get in contact with me. And finally, the next place I would look is local. Do not underestimate local businesses, especially if you're in the US, who need to hire somebody. A lot of times they've thought about hiring a virtual assistant, but the term virtual gets them scared. And so having a face to the name and to the business is really helpful to them. You can pitch to local businesses, you can join networking events, you can post on Facebook if they let you. So those are all the things that I would do if I was wanting to become a virtual assistant in 2025 and I was starting from scratch. That's all for this video. My son is probably ready for me to be done and play with him. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.